What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Coach Ken from Giving It a Try. It is week 36, 2025. We're now into September. It's beyond Labor Day. What does that mean? A good thing, actually, for kind of training and racers. We're getting to that fall season. This is when that grind of the summer, all those hot days, those humid days, especially here up in the Northeast. We're now going to start to see if we were putting in the work and the consistency and the smart training that we needed to do through those summer months, where it may just feel like we just feel like kind of like crap and we're not hitting our paces. You'll start to see that the weather's going to play a role and a factor in helping this now. And you're going to start to see a lot of those performances, heart rate a little lower on certain days, and things are going to start to go pretty well. It's a big week because we have first-time Ironman going to Wisconsin this week. He prepped, primed, did all the work. I can't wait to track him on race day. A few people doing local events. We have somebody doing a half marathon in the Great Smoky Mountains, which is going to be really cool. It's going to kind of be one of those vacation races for her, and she's going to knock it out of the park. She's been training very well, putting a lot of strength, not just on the run, but strength training, because this is a net uphill race, point to point. So that's going to be pretty cool to track them as well. We just kind of did a course overview this morning. And what else do we have going on? A lot of people peaking right now. A lot of people actually just the group that I have doing Ironman Maryland just basically did their big weekends, that century ride, that long, tired run the next day, hitting their biggest peak of volume. They're going to most likely hit into a nice final brick session next weekend and then a full taper in. And then after that, we have some 70.3 New York athletes. They're going to be peaking coming in the next week or two. Then we have Ironman Chattanooga to finish off the Ironman races, and they'll be peaking shortly as well. So a lot of that stuff going on in the triathlon world. And then for the marathoners, it's pretty cool because in the coaching group here, they're just watching these Ironman athletes build. And it's cool because the Ironman stuff basically gets done before marathon races really kick off, because we have a few marathon races. They're starting basically beginning of October, a couple half marathons mixed in there, and then into November. So there's going to be a bunch of different marathons for these athletes going forward. And a lot of them, a decent amount, we talked about these threshold tests that we did to reassess their zones in their training over the past couple of weeks. Almost all of them knocked it out of the park and progressed forward and ran some faster 5K times. We readjusted pace values. And then a mix in the plan. If you don't have a longer race or a prep race in there, like some kind of 10 mile or half marathon, I like to build in for the right athlete and at the right time. This is not for everybody, so don't feel like you got cheated if you didn't have this on the schedule. Was a 13.1 paced long run. And the thing about that is it's really not tapered in like a true race, because, again, it's not race day. It's not that adrenaline of race day, so you don't have to worry about it's just we're not looking for a peak performance. It's a sub-maximal effort at that distance, but we kind of bring it down a little bit percentage-wise of their threshold pace that we would, want them to run a 13.1 at peak form, and practice pacing, fueling, race day strategy, stuff like that. And it's another data collection event for myself, because if I could put them together, the pacing plan that I think they can make for that, and then they hit it, then I have more data to make their pacing plan for their marathon. Or if something happened, maybe we have to readjust. We have to look at other things, fueling or other outside things, or maybe it was a little too much and we have to dial things back. It depends also how their training is going. It's kind of just a good confidence boost along the way. Breaks up the monotony of like these just runs week after week after week. It kind of it's nice to have some of these, nice to see what your training is actually progressing. So that was pretty cool for some of those athletes as well. And as well as we're coming out of the summer now, it gives me some more data when it's not, 85 degrees out or high humidity. And now it's kind of cooling off a little bit in the morning. So they're able to knock out some of these real good performances. A couple things, just random questions and things thrown out there from athletes. And again, I write these things down because I think it's important for everybody. Maybe these are topics that you just think you're alone out there with it. One of them was somebody asked, how do people train for an Ironman that have a family, job, etc., and all these other responsibilities out there? Because an Ironman, unlike running where you run 4 or 5 days a week, you can kind of mix up some things, hour and a half runs and then a long run, you can kind of fit things in. But when you're talking about disciplines of swimming, biking, running, recovery, eating, that's a full-time job when you're an Ironman athlete. Prepping, keeping your gear all in one piece. Because, when you get back from open water swims, you have to go clean your stuff off, hang it out to dry. You have to maintenance your bike. Like, there's a lot of layers that go on in there when you step up to the Ironman distance. And what I kind of told to that person was like, It's a big sacrifice. I did a whole podcast episode on the sacrifice, and it's definitely something because people are starting to think maybe about next year. So this could be a thought for you is if this thought of the Ironman distance, if you haven't done it yet, is lingering in your head. And I might actually go more in depth on a different episode as we talk about prepping and planning for next year, because those are always fun episodes to talk about, is something you got to consider is the amount, like the sacrifice that will have to come with that. It is a very large amount, not just for your family and your job. Like you really need to be all in, and it has to be in that season of your life to be able to go train for that. And don't feel like left out when you see other people like, how do they do an Ironman every year, or multiple Ironmans? Like they just might be in a different position and place than you. Means they're doesn't mean they're any better or any worse, than you are, but just the way your life is set up and the way your scheduling is and your family structure is set up, it just may not allow to have that type of many sessions, at least in this season of your life. And it may be something that we can think about in a couple years or 5 years or whatever it is. So just kind of think about that. If you are thinking of, and this could even be someone like thinking about a marathon where like, I don't even know how, I have barely enough time to get my 3 or 4 runs in a week. How would I train for a marathon? It's a conversation that we can have. And if that's something you want, whether you're a coached athlete or not a coached athlete, like reach out. If you really just want insight on what it really involves, the amount of hours and weeks and months that are involved in this, reach out and we'll talk about it. We'll have an honest conversation about it and kind of give you the best I can on what you would expect if you were to make that jump or decision. Another thing that came up is a lot of people went away end of like summer vacations with families, or they, do midsummer trips. It's always tough vacationing when you're prepping for a big race or prepping or just in a serious training block or plan. Because we tend to not be structured as we are when we're home, because a lot of coached athletes or anybody that's training is very structured. We like to train at certain times of the day. We like to we have access to the same types of foods during the week, and our hydration schedule and our sleep schedule. Everything is just a routine. And when those things go off the rails a little bit because of travel, whether you're flying or driving, you're sitting in a car for a day or two, and then you have to kind of adjust to where you are and what your schedule is going to be like and things you're going to do, it kind of throws wrenches and things. So don't expect to be at peak or hit these peak things. The best I can tell you to do if you vacationing during a big block of training is, if you have to dial back the intensity just to get the runs done, the biggest thing is getting the runs done, and trying to stay as routine as you can. Don't go off the rails. Like if you're not eating a lot of crap or drinking before you go away, don't be doing that when you're away, because it's just going to like screw your whole body up. The body is so routine, the body is so structured that it's probably going to take you a run or two when you come back after a week to kind of just get the wheels going. So don't stress it if like 1 or 2 of these runs are just completely out of whack, or you think something's off with that. Like you really just give it a week once you get back. Dive back into the swing of things, even if you missed a run or 2 while you're away. And I assure you, it'll be just a blip on the radar and you'll move forward and things will be good. And now, another thing is, if you are in this training block and you had this goal or a race or something you want to do, and you're going through some type of change, like I said, you committed to this race, this longer distance, and maybe something came up or something changed, maybe a different job opportunity, good or bad, something with your family. Again, these could be all good or bad. It could have been a good situation that's taken up more of your time, or an unfortunate situation that's taken up more of your time, and you can't focus all on that A goal. That's fine. If you do decide you want to continue and go towards that race day and like, hey, let's keep doing this training, I'll do the best I can, let's get there. The only thing that we'll have to do is maybe look at the performative side of that, the performative goals. If you're somebody who is very accustomed to pushing yourself, going through training blocks and being able to maybe see if we can sneak a PR out or something like that, well, maybe we might have to just revisit that. And maybe it just might have to be let's go to this event, let's just get it done. Let's be thankful that we have a healthy body and a healthy lifestyle to be able to go out and just do these events amongst everything else and the chaos that might be going on right now. So again, it's just a mindset shift that we need. Not everything always has to be a performative goal, as nice as it is to see PRs, progress, and all that as we go on. Again, different seasons of life come and go. And again, just weather the storm, keep doing what you're doing. If the training makes you happy and that's kind of what helps you get by at the end of the day, we'll continue going on. We'll hit the training, and then we'll see what we can do on race day. We'll make an appropriate plan of action and pacing for you to just have a good day based on the training that we were able to get in. And then next thing you know, maybe next season, like things open up, things change a little bit, and you're able to go all in. And the next thing you know, you can have a breakthrough performance. It may not just be in this training block, and it's all good. Another thing I came upon, one of the last things here is, it was a pretty fun thing, was kind of the differences between winning and losing as an athlete versus a coach. Because I've played both sides and I'm playing both sides, is, winning as an athlete is doing great in training, progressing, feeling good, having a healthy body. I would say losing as an athlete, when I look at it like that, is maybe you just don't hit the goal that you thought you could hit, or you made some decision on race day that you're like, why did I do that? I should have made a different decision. So that's kind of like winning and losing as an athlete, but that's fun. But I'll tell you what, the winning as a coach is so much more soul filling. My winning as a coach is not also not seeing you hit a PR on race day, although that may be your win as an athlete, progression and things like that. It's navigating the storm with you. It's coming up with a goal, coming up with a plan, having communication throughout this entire plan, making changes and decisions together as we have to through that, and then coming up with a winning formula, again, for whatever that goal may be, whether it is a performative goal or we just had to change, directions halfway through. And it's not a loss. It could be a win for both of us by coming together with a new plan and a new goal, and then being able to set that out there. But when I see people that are hitting their pacing plans, I give them improving their threshold testing, changing the way they think about training, like training smarter. That's what I just said to the group tonight. Like, with all these wins lately in training where people are kind of testing themselves, and I'm doing all this data collection with them, and they're starting to see like, it's not just training. Like there's certain reasons why the training is structured that way. And I think it's great when athletes start to get that full buy-in, that full confidence boost in their training when they start to see these things. Because if you're hitting all the runs like you're supposed to, and what I told them was, it's not just hard work that works, it's smart work that works. At the right times, the hard work is what makes you, but the smart work most of the time, coming back a little bit off the gas on a lot of these runs, and then being able to have the ability to run faster during these harder sessions and harder runs, and bringing that all together at the end of a week or a month or a training cycle, and then showing up on some type of pacing event, data collection, or race day, and being able to check the box. That's where the real win is. That's where the real money is there for you. And for me, when I see all that happen, that's winning as a coach. And that is something really like awesome. Like it really is soul filling. And I'm so privileged to be able to have such a great group of athletes that are just putting in the smart work that needs to be done, and they're starting to see the benefits of that. And I've been more open about posting, everybody's results during training. It's not just what somebody did on race day, because, anything could happen on race day, seriously. But those little wins in training, like those confidence boosts, like rallying a team up around you when you're putting in the right amount of work and the right structured work, like that's really where like the community and it's really built right there for everybody. So congratulations to everybody. You're all just crushing it out there. And for any of the non-coached athletes that listen in on this, I hope you're doing the smart work too. I hope you're putting in the work that you have to do for your A races and things like that. If you are listening and you're not one of my coached athletes and you're coming up with some type of A race here, September, October, November, the rest of 2025, put it down in the comments below. I'm curious what some of you all are training for and what you got coming up, and then put it in there. Put what your race is, and then let me know. Hey, you going for a performative goal, aka like a PR or something like that, or is this like, we're just looking to get it done with everything that's going on. We're looking to just cross that finish line and have a great day. So for now, that's week 36, 2025, September. We're here. That's it. Unbelievable. Big news coming out this week for everybody. I'm going to make a couple things public, a couple different things going on. The coached athletes kind of know about it already. But for now, I just want everybody stay safe, stay healthy, keep bouncing that life 1 mile at a time, and I'll catch you all on the next one.